Okay, so we talked a little bit so far about myths and we talked about some facts in our chapter. What I'm here to talk about in our chapter is really going to be that outward journey portion of this chapter. What does it mean? Pretty much just what my understanding of this part is in this chapter. So Campbell takes these themes and he makes a proposition. He says that all men should be taught through these formulas of myth based on our divine mind. In an age where science has given humanity a perspective for ourselves, we're the one that decides and we're the ones that make the decision. The intellectual evolution will carry us forward to a new age where mythology and philosophy would really unite us rather than more breaking us. So first we begin with Nicholas Copernicus.
During the 15th century AD, an idea called heliocentrism claimed the sun, not the earth, was at the center of the universe. This horrified Christian clergy, who felt it contradicted the Word of God. If God created earth and man in his own image, then earth and its devout inhabitants must be the center of everything. Ironically, the champion of a sun-centered universe was a devout church deacon from Frombork, Poland, named Nicholas Copernicus.
He was a cathedral administrator, working to help collect the rents, helping people who were sick. But in between, he was working on astronomy.
Copernicus was troubled by Ptolemy's complex heavenly mechanics. But he found an elegant solution. When he moved the Earth from the center of the solar system and replaced it with the sun at the heart of it all.
When Copernicus put the planets going around the sun, he discovered that the planet Mercury, which goes around in about 3 months, automatically fell closest to the sun. And Saturn, the slowest planet, which goes around in about 30 years, automatically fell at the outside edge. Copernicus wrote, "In no other way do we find such a sure harmonious connection between the size of the orbit and its period." That seemed almost magical.
So I think the fact that he was able to use his bare hands and move the sun and earth like that, man, that was something. But next, we're going to talk about Leo Frobenius. He is one of the first great explorers, and he was the first ethnologist, which pretty much means the study of different people, cultures, and relationships. Campbell uses him a lot in this chapter. So now we're talking about Immanuel Kant. He was a German philosopher. He is considered the central figure of modern philosophy. Kant argued that fundamental concepts of the human mind structure human experience, that reason is the source of mortality, that space and time are forms of our understanding, and that the world as it is in itself is unknown. So now that we have a little understanding about some of the figures that Campbell used in the chapter, let's start talking about that outward journey that I'm supposed to explain to you guys. So Campbell decides to start talking about the journey to the moon, how it was a spectacular event and how it changed the world. But the moon flight was an outward journey into ourselves. As the broadcasting was being showed, it actually deepened and transformed the human consciousness, that it opened up a new era to everyone. It gave them the reason to really think outside the box. You know, what else is out there besides X or Y or Z? So with this evolution of ourselves and our minds still going, look how many movies have been out there now. We've had Avatar, we've had Prometheus, Guardians of the Galaxy, and we've even had Interstellar. All these movies make you really wonder, you know, what are the mysteries out there? But then when you really look at it, we're no less mysterious. We're still on a journey of ourselves. We're still thinking, we're still pondering, we're still wondering what's out there. We're still on that journey to find the answer to life. So with that really being said, I want you guys to hear Campbell himself. He says something pretty interesting in these next couple of words that you're going to hear from him. So go ahead and check it out.
I'm going to repeat a couple of thoughts because they seem to be important that I put into that myths to live by in this context. That first moment when that first foot came down on the moon, it was a long time ago now, curiously, but this was quite a moment. And the Italian poet Giuseppe Ungaretti wrote a poem to this moment. The Italian magazine Epoca showed a picture of him, a wonderful little old man pointing with great excitement at the screen of the TV set that was bringing this picture thousands, tens of thousands of miles to his room. And he said there never was a night like this before in the history of the world. The thing that strikes me is that scientists in Houston, Texas, knew exactly how much energy to put into those rockets to bring them in a course that could be predicted around a space that no one had ever visited before. This makes vivid a problem that Kant asks in his Introduction to Metaphysics. How is it that the geometrical calculations that I make in this space here will certainly work in that space there? How is it that the space field is so consistent that one can be certain with apodictic certainty the calculations made here will also work there? It was known exactly how much energy to put into those machines, exactly what direction to pitch them in, to bring those young men back within a mile of the boat that was waiting for them in the Pacific Ocean. And yet no one knew how deep the dust was going to be on the moon when that foot descended. Space is something that lives in our mind, and it's the same space in our mind as it is out there. We have, as it were, all space within us.
Yes, that was a little bit long, but it fits the chapter perfectly. The way that they were able to calculate those calculations and almost get everything exactly precise without even being the location is almost mind-blowing. And even when he spoke about the space in their minds is the same space out there, now that's even a whole nother thing. When he says the spaces in our mind is almost the same space out there, well, that space can still be discovered. That space can actually be explored. You know, when it comes down to what you can do with it, it's almost limitless with what you can really do. So that pretty much concludes the chapter. Campbell really wanted to celebrate this chapter with the fabulous age that we are living in now, with the incredible human race, the fact that now we're breaking free from Earth and we're flying towards those great adventures of this age. That's really the whole concept of this chapter, the moonwalk, the outward journey. Michaela and Sam were awesome. This was a great project, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.